something that an AGI could do eventually, but it's something that narrow AI can't
Cannot.
do
Yeah.
right now. But I mean, to do that for, say, 1,000 data sets is at least something like 1,000 biologist weeks of effort. No one's paying for it. The NIH isn't funding it. BioMine doesn't have the money to pay for that. Pharmaceutical companies aren't funding it. So that's a really low-level, simple thing, but our society just isn't getting it done. Now, once that's done, then you have the other problem of kind of scripting your narrow AI algorithms to crunch this integrated data set, which is another body of work. Now, we've already done that with some of our AI algorithms.
Yeah.
But once you have this kind of mega bio database, at that point, you have a platform where AGI could probably contribute more. Because I think to life extension and bio research.
Sure.
When you're just crunching one data set in isolation, it's kind of just a statistics problem or a machine learning problem that can be addressed by narrow AI tools about as well as anything. When you've got thousands of data sets, then you have a domain where generalization, analogy, more AGI type reasoning can really play a role. You have more meat for a thinking machine to chew on. And this is what I wanted to do when we founded BioMind in 2002. And it's a big job. So what BioMind has wound up doing is just creating better and better machine learning algorithms and applying them to small collections of data sets.
Okay.
Because we just don't have the money to make the mega bio data set and then deploy our technology at a large scale to it. And we'd hope to find a pharmaceutical company to partner with us on it.
But none would bite?
No, the pharma industry is in the toilet. They've been downsizing. They've been downsizing their R&D divisions.
Oh,
and
really?
From their point of view, the main merit of this kind of work is for drug discovery, and they're just de-emphasizing drug discovery research.
Isn't there someone out there, though, with money, a governmental organization or a non-profit organization or some sort of corporation out there that realizes the bonanza of life extension research that could be conducted once the databases are set up and the AGI or the AI, the narrow AI, is trained on the database?
The short answer is no.
No.
I mean, the NIH, there's a lot of people trying to get money from the NIH. If you look at what happened under the wonderful and glorious Bush administration, a lot of NIH money was redirected from fighting diseases to anti-bio warfare research.
Oh.
Under the largely delusional notion that fighting biological warfare is a big problem. And in fact, biological warfare doesn't work very well.
Right.
So, I mean, I've gotten some money from the NIH, and I've gotten money from the CDC, but not for these sorts of things. I mean, we've gotten grants for other things. We got grants to apply AI to chronic fatigue research. We got grants from the NIH, NIAID, National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, to apply our narrow AI tools to gene expression and SNP data in the area of immunology. So we have succeeded in getting government grant money. We've succeeded in getting government grant money for those things that the government wants to fund. But there's no calls for proposals out there for this sort of thing. You know?
Okay.
We've gotten money for the things where there were calls for proposals that had been published, which is like use narrow AI, or not even that, but they use statistics to crunch data about this particular disease, and then you can write a proposal for that. But there's no one is issuing calls for proposals for this sort of thing. And I mean, the money's there, but if you think about it, there's a fixed amount of money the NIH is given.
Yeah.
The cancer researchers are begging for it. The Parkinson's researchers are begging for it.
Everyone.
The Alzheimer's, everyone's begging for it, and this kind of stuff just doesn't have as, you know, there's no one who's as active as the American Cancer Association, who's advocating for like integrative analysis of all biology data toward life extension. It's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, imaged is great, but it doesn't compete with the Cancer Association and the Michael J. Fox Association.
Well, think about
all these advocacy groups.
Yeah,
you need better lobbyists to lobby Congress.
Sure.
To tell NIH to allocate their money to this sort of thing. Then NIH will issue a call for proposals, and we'll write a proposal answering that call. You know?
Right. I was just wondering. Like you mentioned, the Immortality Institute. Obviously, we don't have the type of funding or influence or whatever to get the huge project going together like that. But could a group of volunteers at least get it started to the point where it would just show an inkling of promise? I know we don't have a lot of.
I would say that our publications already have shown an inkling of promise. I mean,
I would think so.
We have publications in peer-reviewed journals which show that we've applied AI to data sets about cancer and most recently the stuff with calorie restriction. We had a publication based on applying AI to study Parkinson's disease data, and I mean that we were able to predict with almost 100% accuracy if someone's going to get Parkinson's disease or not based on looking at mutations in mitochondrial DNA. So it's not that we don't have promising results. I mean, it's just that there's a lot of good biology research going on, and people aren't any more fascinated by this than by everything else out there because they don't see the long-term potential of this. I mean, because what this is competing against is someone's working on a cancer drug, right? I mean, there's
something with short-term potential in one single area.
It's not even clear that it has short-term potential, but at least it looks like it does, right? I mean, it has the name of some disease on it.
Yeah, so I hear you there.
So, I mean, in terms of what enthusiasts could do, I mean, we already have peer-reviewed publications giving preliminary results. What we could use is laboratory biologists to do work to try to validate some of this stuff AI has hinted at. But I mean that just costs money to pay grad students and lab techs and buy gene chips and do the work. You know,
which makes you think.
It's not so much the kind of thing that enthusiasts can do at home in their spare time.
I suppose you're right there. But I still think perhaps we can leverage volunteers with some of the groups we know to maybe lobby for more research, AI research into longevity. But just to turn the corner here and start a slightly different subject here, as we're getting, we usually run the program about an hour up until 7 o'clock Eastern. So I don't want to keep you too long here tonight, Ben. But some people have been talking about something completely different, the evolution of machine intelligence and how that's going to affect human society and things like that. A couple of weeks ago, we had Hugo de Garis on the show, and just to ask a blunt question here, you've met Hugo personally. Is he a lunatic?
Absolutely not.
Okay, because there was a big discussion in the Immortality Institute forums. People said he was a lunatic, he was crazy, and he wants to see the death of hundreds of millions of people on the planet through some sort of art-elect war. My interpretation was that he's being a realist, and he's kind of predicting that this is likely to happen. Enhanced humans, beings fighting against unenhanced or natural people, but not that he wanted that to happen. And is that your take on the situation as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
okay.
Actually, I'm working quite closely with Hugo right now because he's working at Xiamen University in China.
Yeah.
And on a project to use his evolved neural networks to control a humanoid robot. And they're actually going to use some open cog technology that my team has developed to help with the cognitive aspects of controlling their robot. And I visited him there earlier this year. I'm actually going to be there for a couple months in China with him this next summer. So yeah, I know Hugo quite well, and he's definitely not insane. I would say he's certainly an eccentric guy.
Eccentric, yeah.
But I mean, the truth is the average ordinary human being doesn't create thinking machines, right? I mean,
No, no.
so
Yeah, that's
I
right.
would, in terms of Hugo's futurological prognostications, I've certainly argued with him about that a lot. So we don't see eye to eye on that. The way I put it when I talk to